one of Jack's favorite words was serendipity. He used to give talks on it all the time about, I'm not even sure the origin of it, but I think it's the three princes of serendip, if I'm not mistaken. And he would love to get up there and talk about this idea. Now, I had been studying, the teachings of Carl Jung, who actually coined the term synchronicity, and basically they're synonyms for each other. And Jack always had this very strong sense that if you, one of the people that was very influential in my life, who's now passed on, was Earl Nightingale.
Yes.
And he produced something called The Greatest Secret years and years ago, and I got to know Earl quite well before he passed. And this was one of Jack's very, very favorite tapes. It was the first tape, actual cassette tape, that sold 1 million copies.
Yeah, it's called The Strangest Secret.
The Strangest Secret. And The Strangest Secret, and Jack used to talk about this, and in conjunction with serendipity, is that you become what you think about all day long. So that whatever thoughts that you have inside of you, this is what you've been saying, Mary, this is what you've been saying, Les, and this is what Jack lived and practiced and taught. He talked that he would give his church service wouldn't be on Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John necessarily. It would be on the three princes of serendip, and how something called serendipity or synchronicity, which is really just an energy that when you begin to connect to a higher place within yourself, you then begin to access things called your intuitive knowing. And these intuitive knowings are always there, and then the universe will always align with you when you have a vision inside of you that you just can never let go. As a matter of fact, it isn't a vision about something that's going to happen; it's about something that already is happening.
Yes.
You're living as if, not in hopes that, but as if what you would like to create or manifest is already here, and you just simply have to realign yourself. So he would talk about Earl, and he loved this idea that there is alignment, there is guidance, there is help that's going to be available for you, but you can't get that help if your image is on, or if your inner vision is on what can't happen.
That's right.
If your thoughts are what you can't do, then you're going to attract more of what you can't do. If your thoughts are on how unlucky you have been, then you're going to attract more bad luck into your life. That you become what you think about, and it's such a very, very powerful idea. And it's the essence behind the church of today, and I think it's really the essence behind so many of what are called the New Thought churches and so on. Just this whole idea that you can give a talk on Emerson or on Thoreau or on any subject that you want to, as long as you have an awareness that God is something not outside of you that is going to do it all for you, but that is within each and every one of us. That was probably what directed me, because the first 4 books that I wrote were all books about psychology and so on, had nothing to do with spirituality. In fact, when I wrote I Can See Clearly Now, sort of a memoir, I went through the first 5 books and the indexes of the first 5 books that I wrote, and the word God or spirit or consciousness or higher awareness and so on appears once in all 5 of those books. And then all of a sudden I wrote a book called You'll See It When You Believe It, and it was mentioned in there 39 times. And then the next book had it in the title, and then all of a sudden I was now talking about spiritual matters rather than psychological matters. And it was all of this began with a phone call from a guy that I had never heard of, who was on the east side of Detroit at a high school called Regina High School, asking me to come and apply the messages of psychology into the world of spirit. That was my introduction to it, and that was Jack's work for sure.
Oh my gosh.